very happy to be here, and just put me in, Coach. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, he's, we've been talking to him for a couple of weeks, trying to work things out. He was in Michigan, and he's real close with Sorrels, and he's been around a lot of pro football, from the NFL to our league to the multiple leagues down south. So I mean, he's a well-traveled guy that's capable of playing inside or outside.
Is that what helps too? Is the experience that he has with Steven, that he can kind of be thrust in and just go in and play?
Well, I mean, he knows our terminology, so it certainly helps him having a familiarity with our offense. And again, with St. John's injury, it's timely.
Yeah. How important is it for you to keep that ratio the way you want it, having the four Canadians up on the line?
Yeah, well, right now, I mean, Garnett's hurt, so I mean, well, there was not much option, you know. So we've got a lot of Canadian kids that we feel strongly can do the job. It's a matter of us getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands.
Yeah. Whether it's special teams or on defense, Reaves seems to be a Jones guy. Like he's got the talent and the skill level that you like in a player.
Well, I mean, he's played the joker position before on our punt, and so with Apollon's injury, it allows us to have a guy that also has familiarity, that has the body type that we need, that can come down the box, can bomb or protect, and then can certainly get his release and can fight a double team.
Chris, I don't know if I ever remember seeing a D-line come out in short yardage like that. What was the decision behind
Well, I mean, we didn't get the first part of the year, and I asked, I'm like, why do we just always leave receivers in that position to do, a physical job? And so I said, as long as we've got eligible numbers on, we can certainly line up with bigger people that don't mind contact. So, hopefully we can get better at getting a yard. I firmly believe that, we went for it right out there, wherever we were to win the Grey Cup. And I'm like, if we can't get a yard, we shouldn't be here. And I firmly believe that's what you got to live by in this league.
What are some of the challenges the O-line is just? I know when times get tough, it's the easy one to point to and push all the problems on. But
yeah.
What have the challenges been?
Well, I mean, hell, I mean, it's been. Do we have enough time? I mean. It's when you're 0-4, it's all three phases. It's the coaching staff. There's a little bit of everything mixed in there, and we've shortened up our game plans in all three phases. And I'm the special teams unit, when we get the kicks that we need, they've played very well. I mean, that's a lot of young kids out there running around, and when we get the 4-5 hang, we get down there and it's a 5-yard return. When we don't get the direction that we need, certainly we struggle. And it's maybe not the most athletic group, but they play extremely, extremely hard. And again, I mean, you can go around the board from all three phases and the coaching staff.
Can you name your starting QB for Thursday?
Yeah, we're going to start Taylor, and Daigie's going to back up. Trey's going to be number 3. We're going to roll in there, and we've simplified the game plan. We're going to try to play as fast as we possibly can, let them take a breath of fresh air. And if you saw the energy here at practice, I mean, it was a really, really impressive. I can assure you that there's some teams that didn't practice as fast as these guys did today, and again, I'm proud of that.
Is that a message to him, or maybe not even a message, just a lesson or education, just to sit and watch what he watched?
Yeah, I mean, it's you don't just get just because you're named the starter, you got to go out and you got to play. You got to go out and you've got to do the things necessary to win the game. And that's the most critical position. He gets the quarterback probably gets too much praise, and he probably gets too much blame.
Not to take you back into the past, but I remember there was a new QB when you came in here, and he kind of picked this team up, and when things weren't working out, and used his legs a lot.
Yeah.
We all know Taylor can do it.
Yeah.
Does it come down to his choice when he does things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the move around factor is pretty much on the quarterback. If things are breaking down, I mean, certainly you need to move around in order to buy time. I mean, you look at the most successful team right now in Winnipeg. Zach Collaros moves around, buys time for his receivers, and then conversely, his receivers are always working for him. So we need to look at that.
Do you get to a point where is a fine line between refining what you're trying to do and maybe saying we got to change a whole lot of things? Like, you know what I mean? Like 0-4, your little things are happening, and you still feel you're on the track that you want to be on. You just got to play better with the system you have, or do you want to change things?
When your guys, I think playing faster is the key. And so if reducing what we're doing on our play card, if instead of having this big a play sheet, it's that big, then whatever we need to do, that's what we're going to do, and that's kind of always been my adage since I was coaching high school football. I mean, it was the same thing.
And you instill things in training camp, so you just
keep
let's working on it and make it better.
Yeah, let's go back to what we do well, find out the things that we do well, and do as many of those as we possibly can.
Chris, I know you're not one for excuses, but back-to-back short weeks against teams coming off a bye is not the easiest way to start out.
Yeah,
I know every team goes through.
It's a tough schedule. There's absolutely no doubt, but everybody's going to see it. I mean, back-to-back short weeks, a 5-day week last week, with the travel, which is with an East Coast travel on a 5-day week. That was tough. But everybody faces the same thing. We got to bow our necks and do like everybody else. Go show up to play a game.
It's a short week. Technically, it feels like a longer week, though.
Yeah. Well, we got 6 days this week. So we had our day one today. We only had one period where we actually went against each other. Because, again, I've got to try to do my best to get them to the game fresh.
You got 3 straight weeks of Thursday games now. Do you like that? You can kind of settle in a routine and more practice time and more
Yeah,
time?
I mean, knowing the defined week, it is a little bit easier when you've got those 7 days in between, So it's, after this Saskatchewan game, we've got a full week.
What do you do as being 0-4 now? What do you do with the team to keep them up so that they're ready to go for that next game? Because obviously the noise is around it. How do you
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's I talked to him this morning, and it's like we've got to face where we're at, There's no 4-win games. You don't win one game and all of a sudden, be all even again, But 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, nobody in that room thought we were a bad football team. And we've got to get back to the things that we do well. We've got to let our kids play fast. We've got to keep them enjoying being around one another. Coach Lolly that used to coach, he used to say, hey, keep them smiling. And we've got to keep, believing in what we're doing, chopping wood, and just enjoy being here.
I think football is this way, but when you're going through what you're going through, like, narrow your world.
Yeah.
Get off the field, make big display, go to the next play, go to the next play.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't think about everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've tried to compartmentalize. And like you say, I mean, there's so much negativity and so many people. Every time I go home, I hear, you're going to win a home game. Well, guess what? We're not trying to lose those games. Those kids aren't trying to. So what we've got to do is we've got to go out, play fundamental, solid football in 3 phases. And you don't do it by piling on a ton of plays. So you try to get them back and play the fundamental style that you did in camp and get back to playing fast.
I know it'd be unfair to ask anything about a timeline when it comes to a rebuild, but Chris, do you ever get the feeling you can be a victim of your own success just from where you've been before and what you've done?
Yeah, you know what? I don't worry about that. I mean, if somebody decides to do something, they do something. I don't really put we didn't know in SAS because at one point in SAS we were 1-3, I think it was the second year, and so we were like, oh shit, and so we're gonna keep on. But we didn't just bail on everything and throw everything out. We won with the players that we had, and we made the necessary adjustments, and that's kind of what we did. We kept on working, and we all come from tough backgrounds, and you're not a pro football player unless you've been through some real tough times. A lot of high school players, it's easy to show up, right? College players, it's a little harder. Being a pro athlete, you don't do that unless you've been into some very tough situations. And a lot of these kids have tough family situations. So we're leaning on one another. We're keeping it in that room. And if today's any indication, we've got a shot.
Last thing, Daniel Ross, you mentioned he had a cut on his foot, just freak thingy.
Yeah, I think it was in the shower or something. He stepped out of the shower the other morning before. That's what allowed Middleton to get his shot to play, and he had 3 tackles. And again, we had to go pack his stuff and take him to the game. And so, but Daniel's foot, I think, is well. He said he's able to play on it. So hopefully he'll be out there and help us win the game.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.